So, have you ever been scrolling online and you just get this weird feeling that something's off? That the internet we all grew up with feels kind of hollow now? Well, you're definitely not alone. And today, we're going to dig into exactly why that is.
You know that feeling, right? You see the same comments posted over and over again. You stumble across images that are just a little bit weird, a little uncanny, or maybe you've just noticed that your social media feed feels less like a real community and more like an empty stage with actors pretending there's a party. Look, this isn't just you. It's this widespread viral feeling that something fundamental has changed. And what's crazy is what used to be brushed off as a niche conspiracy theory, well, it's now a mainstream conversation, and it's backed by some seriously startling evidence.
And that brings us to this thing called the dead internet theory. The core idea is pretty simple and pretty chilling, that sometime around 2017, the authentic human internet, well, it died. And what we're all using now is an imitation, a place where bots and AI are just talking to each other in a giant, endless loop, drowning out any real human voices. For years, this was just a hunch, a gut feeling people had, but not anymore. Now we have the data. We're about to look at the numbers that turn this creepy feeling into a cold, hard fact. All right, let's get into it. Let's look at the hard numbers and see who, or more accurately, what, is really running the show online these days. And seriously, brace yourself, because this is where things get pretty wild. Here it is, the big one, 51%. That's the headline number from the 2025 Imperva Bad Bot report. And that's a huge deal, because for the first time ever in the history of these reports, automated traffic has officially overtaken human traffic. Just let that sink in for a second. Think about all the activity happening online. Every single click, every page load, every interaction. More than half of all that is not being done by a person. The machines are now the majority. But okay, this isn't just about bots clicking on links. The problem goes way, way deeper. We're now talking about the actual stuff on the internet. The articles, the pictures, the videos, the content that we're supposed to be consuming every day. And this is where a new term comes in. AI slop. Now, this isn't the cool, creative AI that we hear about. No, this is just junk. Low-quality, endlessly churned out content. We're talking about articles that are only written to rank high on Google, not for you to actually learn anything from. Its whole purpose is just to trick the algorithm. So how much of this junk is out there? Well, according to a recent report from an SEO firm called Graphite, 52% of all new articles being published on the web are now AI-generated. Think about that. More than half of the new information being dumped onto the internet is just AI slop. And this chart just shows you how fast it all happened. Look at that explosion after late 2022. That's right when tools like ChatGPT went public. We went from about 10% to over 50% in just a couple of years. And those two numbers we just saw, 51% bot traffic and 52% AI content, they are deeply, deeply connected. A huge chunk of that automated traffic is busy creating and then interacting with this AI slop. It's a vicious, self-fueling cycle. So, what does this all mean for us? For the actual humans trying to navigate this new online world? Well, it's creating a massive identity crisis. Our ability to just trust what we see and who we talk to is completely falling apart. You know the Turing Test, right? That classic sci-fi idea of testing if a machine can trick you into thinking it's human? Yeah. Well, that's officially obsolete. The line has gotten so blurry that we've totally lost our bearings. The results from our recent UC San Diego study are just staggering. As you can see here in text chats, OpenAI's GPT 4.5 was mistaken for a human 73% of the time. Let me say that again. 73%. The AI was literally more convincing at being a person than some of the actual people in the test. It's insane. And this is where things just get truly bizarre. We're seeing stuff like Shrimp Jesus. I'm not making that up, this completely nonsensical AI image that went viral on Facebook. It racked up millions of likes and comments, and it turns out it was mostly from other bot accounts. It's a perfect picture of this fake, automated feedback loop. Bots making content for other bots to engage with. So where does all this leave us? This isn't just a tech problem anymore. This is a shift in our actual reality. The big internet platforms we use every day, they're now fighting what really feels like a losing battle against an army of digital ghosts. Get this number, 100 million. That's how many fake accounts Meta removed in a single year. That's more than the entire population of Germany. And that's just one company. For every account they managed to take down, who knows how many more are being created? The scale of it is almost impossible to imagine. And this isn't just about weird images and spam comments. As Tim Chang from the cybersecurity firm Thales points out, this has massive, real-world consequences for security, for data, and for how pretty much any business has to operate online. So maybe dead isn't quite the right word. The internet isn't dead. In fact, it's busier than ever. It's zombified. It's filled with activity, but it's all mindless, automated, non-human activity. It looks alive, but the soul, the consciousness, it's just gone. And that leaves us all with one final, pretty unsettling question to think about. In a world where more than half the traffic, half the content, and maybe even half the people you interact with are fake, where do we even go to find genuine human connection anymore?